Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you do hit the bell and share it with your friends. Of course, it does help the channel grow, and if of course you do hit the bell, you won't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. As always guys, we'll go through a bunch of markets today. We'll start with the USD side of things, take a look at the DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. We will also go through requests, any pairs you're looking at, any trades you may be in if you want to share. Of course, any questions as well, drop it in the chat and we can take a look. What's up Tony Gold? Welcome to the streamer man, I hope you are well. And of course we will take a look at our Perks platform as well. Do have some information to share with you guys about that. Of course, if you haven't checked it out, we'll go through that. I'll probably share the video that I did on the platform for the walkthrough if you want a bit more detail on how to use it and how it works. Morning Ferragams, hope you're doing good. Welcome to the chat, to the stream. But yeah, let's get on with it. So first things first, we've got the dollar. So yeah, we're looking a bit bearish this morning. I would say that as a whole, we are still quite flat. Price is still rejecting support, price is still rejecting resistance. But it looks like we potentially could be getting a breakout to the downside, which of course hinting at some USD weakness, which is what we were actually talking about on Friday. Because looking at the weekly chart, we're seeing a lot of wicks to the upside, and that's a strong sign to tell us that we're kind of failing to push higher. Price is trying to push higher, but it's failing to do so. And to me, it looks like price can probably make a move lower. And if you take into consideration the support level, which of course was previously support back over here, taking that as resistance, you can see wicks continuously into that level. So it shows me that resistance is holding really well. Price has tried to rally through, of course hasn't worked out too well. So the path of least resistance to me would be a swing to the downside. Price typically moves in the path of least resistance. I would expect that to be lower, and of course you got the lows here, which of course just continues the trend which we've seen throughout the year. That's really what I'm expecting now for the dollar, and of course we're seeing some early signs of that this week with price looking like it's trying to break out of that range in the 4-hour chart. I said if I'm going to be bearish this week with the dollar, I do want to see price well and truly clear support here. Then we can talk about some pullbacks, perhaps a retest of that same zone. And yeah, I'm expecting us to eventually go and take out these lows, resting around 96.390. So I can see a lot more downside for the USD. We're hinting at that. I wouldn't say the breakout is well and truly here. Of course, it looks like price is closing below, but it's only by a small margin. We're very prone to fake outs. You could argue we did it over there, and you can see what happened shortly afterwards. So I would like to see a more convincing break to the downside. And of course, the price does close above next candle, well, we're back at square one. So I need to see a bit more convincing momentum, a bit more distance between price and that level that we're breaking through supposedly. And if that is the case, the shorts are very much on. Even taking shorts in the breakout is not such a bad idea, but I think in this instance, I'd rather look for some pullbacks. And yeah, a push to the lows will be my take. So it looks like we're seeing some dollar weakness, potentially could see a lot more of it. And of course, euro is showing similar signs as well. Of course, with a move to the upside, and euro dollar is hinting at potentially breaking to the upside, but again, still stuck at resistance, so not going to read too much into that because we could very much reject this area and come straight back down. Of course, if USD is going to break lower, then you would expect euro dollar to break higher, but we'll wait for things to be confirmed yet. But let's say if we do break to the upside, then of course a push back to the high here would very much be the plan. So looking for the breakout, some pullbacks, hopefully a retest of this area, really nice resistance will be turned support, great place to be looking for a break and retest opportunity, and targets back at high. So potentially we could be looking at that. Of course, let's not rule out the possibility of price rejecting this area very well and seeing a push down. It is still relatively 50-50 here. So I wouldn't be looking to buy any breakouts just yet. Need a bit more convincing price action to really say, okay, we're broken out. Let's look for opportunities now. If we see a strong rejection, a strong 4-hour bearish engulfing candle, that's a strong rejection within itself. We might be in for a move lower. So still need a bit more information, but we'll keep an eye on that. We're definitely at a critical area, just like we were last week. Price was back at support. It was 50-50. Is price going to break through or respect it? Of course, in hindsight, we can see price did the latter, but now approaching resistance again. Let's see what the next move will be. Pound USD in a similar light as well, kind of just very flat between key support, key resistance. So I'm treating it in the same way I'm treating euro dollar, which is just waiting for price to make its move, and then direction should be a lot clearer in terms of where the next target will be. Again, I'm either looking at push back to highs or push back to lows. Again, if USD is going to be weak, that should hint at a push back to highs for pound. But in terms of actually finding an opportunity to trade that, again, I need to see price clear resistance at 1.358. If we break above the highs there, this looks like a big inverse head and shoulder pattern. There's your left, there's your head, and of course there'll be your right shoulder, and that will be your neckline. So a break of that really opens the door to some longs, where the breakouts, pullback opportunities to retest the zone, and then you're looking at swing back to highs, and that's about 200 pip range as well. So don't even need to take advantage of the whole move. As well, can just take advantage of a small piece of the pie. But I'm liking what I'm seeing with pound, not so much in terms of the current price action. It's really flat. I would suggest it's difficult to find good opportunities within this area. But let's say if momentum does pick up and we see a breakout, USD sees some strength, then I think we could be onto something with some nice opportunities above this level and targeting back more or less from around 1.38. So yeah, pound USD, keeping an eye. But I won't be added to my watch list until I see, again, either a price break to the upside or to the downside. Let's not rule that out completely as well. Price could take a tumble. And of course, if you do break the low here, then I'll be speaking about push here, which is roughly 200 pips as well. So similar ranges to work with. But in there, very, very noisy. Don't have much clarity with price. Dollar CAD is an interesting one. I'm pretty bearish on dollar CAD. We rejected a very key level on the higher time frame. Looking at this level here on the weekly chart, resistance once, twice, a third time, a fourth time, could argue a fifth time as well now. And if price is going to respect that and stay below, we could be in for a really big tumble for dollar CAD, potentially back to these lows, 1.33, 1.32. Again, a bit more longer term bias, but it makes sense based on where we're trading, based on how we're trading as well. At least for the upcoming few weeks, I do think we can see a push into the lows here. Look at the rejection there. Really nice wick to the upside, or 3 wicks there. Strong close this last week. I do think momentum can spill over. So at least looking for a push back to where we came from. As I drop to the 4-hour chart, the plan is pretty simple. We're starting to form some nice bearish structure now. Push, pull back, push. Looking for the next pullback for, again, the next push. There's your supply zone, your consolidation, waiting for a break and retest of that zone, and hopefully we can see some more sellers enter the market and see some more selling pressure take this lower. At least a push into this area. I think that makes sense for the week anyway. Of course, it might take 2, 3, 4 weeks for us to actually get back to these lows, but at least for this week, if you do see a pullback, a push is pretty reasonable, and you're not expecting too much from the market. So yeah, dollar CAD is definitely on the watch list for myself. Looking at pullbacks, not so interested in the buys, but looking for pullbacks to then short dollar CAD. Hopefully for the remainder of the week, and probably for the remainder of a few weeks potentially. And as for Aussie dollar, really flat, approaching resistance. So again, could be an interesting place for a short. I do think Aussie dollar can actually see more upside, because I'm looking at price On the higher time frames in the weekly chart in particular, I'm seeing a lot of wicks here. Price is trying to head lower. It's been super corrective on the way up. It's tried to break lower, but failing to do so, spilling over a few wicks to the downside, really kind of confirming support is doing its job there. And we've seen some strength in the past weekly candle, which just closed. Not humongous strength, I would still argue we're trapped within the range, but it does look like prices failed to go lower. So again, path of least resistance, that should take us to the upside as well. Mic is not connected. Oh no. Oh, okay, it's connected to the wrong mic. Okay, that should be better. Actually, is it better? Yeah, I think I'm connected to the right one. Apologies for that, people. Apologies. I think it was connected to my my desktop computer, not the actual mic in front of me. But I think I've fixed it. Yeah, just let me know if this sounds better. Okay, cheers. Thank you, Sis Integrated. Apologies for that, people. I hope the mic wasn't too horrible. I'm glad I had a look at the chat there because I would have continued for a while. But yeah, anyway, so back to the analysis. Apologies for the audio. But yeah, Aussie dollar giving me an impression that we are failing to head lower. So I'm looking at support forming and that we could see a lot more upside here. And probably a push back into resistance, which should take us back to the highs around 0.66. So I'm hinting at price pushing higher longer term. But in the short term, yeah, in the short term, I do think there could be some selling opportunities back at the high. I do think price can find resistance here and push lower, especially with how corrective we are looking back into that area. So I do think we can see a bit of a dive. I just wouldn't bank on such a big one. Maybe a push back towards this area. Not too unreasonable. Like I said, I do think we are likely to push back to highs eventually. Again, how we do that, I have no idea. Price may break straight through. Price might want to push to the downside first. It may even want to come back and retest lows here. It will depend on the USD as well. But it's a significant level of resistance, especially with how price is moving. I do think we can see a reaction. Of course, wait for entry confirmations to back that up. But if you are looking to short, this is a place for it. If not, then of course, the highs over there will be the next best. So yeah, Aussie dollar looking at a slight dip, but I do think we will see more upside in the long term. New Zealand dollar still operating within its channel, so still very corrective as a whole. The way I see it, we've been descending here. We've got the highs of the channel relatively proportional over here, and looks like price to me is just approaching the up end of the channel. So in terms of New Zealand dollar, it really is just what we do at this area. Do we break out? Do we respect it? It's 50-50. I like this area because despite the move, despite the bigger, whatever price is going to do, if we are going to take some breakouts and look for some pullbacks, that should give us a pretty big move to the upside. And likewise, if we do respect it and push back down and form another lower high, we should be looking at decent moves in either direction. So in terms of risk reward, in terms of opportunity, regardless of what price does, I do think there could be something there to really keep an eye on. But yeah, we're approaching an area of supply. We're approaching the top end of the channel. Let's see how price reacts here. Maybe we do take a dive. I think for now, my initial impressions is that we are quite corrective and we are looking quite flat and quite slow. So I think we could probably see some resistance in this area. But wait for price to well and truly react to that area before really looking for some entries. But I would suggest keep an eye. And then yeah, gold and silver really setting the tone for the week there. A lot of momentum. Of course, we had some really aggressive momentum on Friday. Had a slight pause as we opened for the week. And then again, overnight, another strong push to the upside, well and truly breaking through resistance. So things are now interesting with gold. Before they weren't interesting, now they are. And yeah, of course, we all know that gold long term is very much in a bullish trend. We have been very flat for the past few months. Price has been in a bit of a sideways phase. And now potentially price is showing its hand in terms of where it wants to go. So as long as we don't come crashing back down, and breaking back underneath 34.30, I would expect to see price pull back and continue back to highs. You've got the all-time highs here at 3,500. We haven't done that yet. I still think that's likely to go. So especially from an intraday point of view, I think that's where you're going to find some nice opportunities, especially for risk to rewards. If I drop like the hourly chart, nice consolidation here, strong area of demand, strong push to the upside. I would suggest a pullback into that area could be a smart place for a buy to take you back to the all-time highs at 3,500. So yeah, gold really bullish. Again, just focusing on the buys. The only way I would stand back is if we come crashing back down. Yeah, if we see momentum take us back underneath the level, then that would be a sign of worry. But at the moment, yeah, momentum's looking strong. I would just be looking to follow that. And likewise with silver as well. Really impressed momentum. Arguably even a stronger breakout than gold. Well and truly broke the highs. This was actually the bonus pair for this week on the weekly analysis. If you haven't checked it out, it's the most recent video on the channel. But I spoke about a retest of this structure. Again, nice kind of area of demand. You can probably focus a bit more on this area in particular. Of course, lines up with the resistance price created. So I said if we could see a pullback here, I think that'll be a smart place for a buy. It still is a very smart place for a buy. It's just now we're asking for a pretty big pullback now for us to get all the way back there. I think shifting the attention more so to this area now makes a bit more sense, especially taking into consideration the momentum. It's asking a lot for us to retrace there. It could happen, so keep an eye. But I think this is definitely be your first area of focus. If that fails, then we can talk a bit more about this 39 level. But 39, yeah, 39. But 39.8 would be the area of interest. But yeah, as for silver, still very much in the bullish trend, committing to the upside. I think buys is the best bet for this one, just following momentum, following the trend. And likewise with gold as well, with the breakout we've had. As long as you don't break back in, gold looks like a really nice buy opportunity. So yeah, that's kind of the plan with gold and silver at the moment. Hope you guys have found the analysis useful there. Of course, we can take a bit more detail on lower time frames if any of you are interested. What's up, guys? Tony Gold longs. Yep, I do agree, especially with the breakout. As long as we don't see price crash back in the range, I think especially if you're intraday, you could have some nice opportunities there. You never know, you catch a nice trade, it could really fly in your favor. Gold has that possibility. And also, let's not forget, price has been in a range for 2 months. So if this is going to be the breakout, you could really see an explosion for gold. If I go quickly back to gold and take a look at that higher time frame, you can see gold on the daily chart. We've had this incredible bullish move, which of course came into that range. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar move on the breakout. So if I just clone that, didn't even need to clone it, could just drag it. I wouldn't be surprised if you see price do something like that, which could take us to 4K. And of course, that might seem a bit over the top, but it has not been over the top at all. I mean, considering gold's done it over the past 2 years, roughly. Another bullish phase like that, another breakout, I could see price doing something similar. Maybe not as big, but we could see a proper breakout. So yeah, I think gold longs 100%. Of course, unless we come crashing down, we can reanalyze and go from there. But for now, buys look really, really good. Morning, Savvy. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Of course, Ferragams, I agree with that message. I do hope this week gives us a good opportunity to trade as well. What's up, Yusuf? What's up, Divot? Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I did have a good weekend. Thank you for asking. Hope you did as well. It's the same software. I've just gone for a different shape, Yusuf. I've gone for a circular shape. Trying that out. What's up, Bashi? Appreciate it, my man. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you guys are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. And of course, drop any questions, any queries in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them as well. Bash his way into the stream. Yeah, okay, yeah, we can take a look at Euro and GU on the 15th. No problem, Yusuf. What I think of pound NZD and Euro NZD, yes, we can take a look as well. Good morning, Michelle. Welcome to the stream. Happy to see you. Hope you're doing good. Appreciate that, Bashi. EUG 15, GN, and Euro NZD. Okay, we'll quickly go through our perks platform. We will have some information regarding the trading challenge for the upcoming month. But if you haven't checked out the platform itself, you haven't experimented with it, again, you can go connect your wallet, you can connect with your email as well and just play around with it. You don't have to go straight to any live server. You can go to the demo side of things, the test net, and experiment with the platform, play with it. You have test USDC to trade with, so you can use it as it is live, but just of course in a demo environment. So if you haven't checked out the platform, I have left the link to the platform in the description below, so you can head over and check it out. But this is a perps platform we've been working on for the past few months. Really excited to share it with you guys. Again, this platform is completely decentralized, and the beauty of that is the lack of restrictions, the accessibility to the platform worldwide, and the ease and the use of it, especially with Solana and Ethereum wallets. You can withdraw, deposit straight away. There's no restriction. You have to go and request to withdraw any of your profits. Pretty much as soon as you close a winning trade, you can pretty much withdraw your profits straight away. All settlements are done instantly. At the moment on the platform, only cryptocurrencies can be traded by FX. Other markets, commodities, indices are coming to the platform as well to trade it on perps as well. And it does have its own AI feature in the top left corner there, which provides you analysis, risk assessment. Will give you some setups, tradable setups on the 4 hour time frame as well. And again, this is just the first variation of the platform. We'll be looking to improve and add new features. We're looking at features that we can have a drop-down menu for AI indicators that will come into the chart and help visualize your analysis, visualize setups on the chart as well. So a lot more updates regarding that in the near future. But we are doing that trading competition. So if you are interested, I will have a form for you guys to fill out. Just drop your email. And hopefully we'll have it later today. If not, I'll share it with you guys tomorrow. Anywho, we'll go through some of the pairs you guys requested. New here, welcome Divot. So yeah, I mean, every weekday we go through pretty much all markets, share opinions, thoughts. I'll share my analysis, my watch list, any pairs I'm looking at, and any trades I'm in, I'll share with you guys as well. I am in a position at the moment, Aussie, and I'll go through the requested pairs first, and then we can take a look at the position I'm in, and go for my watch list as well, what I'm looking for the week as well. But yeah, first things first, let's take a look at Euro. Again, I went through this on the 4 hour chart, and I basically said we're flat at the moment. We're hinting at a break to the upside. Looks like dollar weakness is on the horizon, and we could be seeing more weakness for the USD, which of course could equate to euro dollar pushing higher. We're still very much within resistance, so I wouldn't say the breakout's here. I wouldn't get excited yet. I'll need to see some candlesticks closing well above resistance, clearing it by some distance and with some momentum as well, for me to get excited about a breakout and some long-in opportunities on the 4 hour chart. In terms on the 15, 15 is interesting because of course we got resistance, and you're taking a look into price in a bit more detail here. If anything, it's not a bad place to short, especially as price is pushing right back to the high. I would say we are quite corrective. I wouldn't be looking to long on the 15. That's 100%. Of course, if you get the breakout, that's a different story. But we are starting to lose steam. We're becoming a bit more corrective. If price can keep this up, start to see some rejection at the highs, I think that's a great place for a short. Yeah, I think it's a great place for a short. You're banking on price respecting the highs. You're well positioned for it. Hopefully we'll have a nice safe stop loss above the highs, and the risk reward is is looking quite attractive. Even if you get 50% of the way down, doesn't have to be a home run all the way to the opposing level. Can be 50% of the range. That should give you a nice return on the trade as well. So yeah, I quite like what we're doing for euro. Looking quite corrective. Shorts can definitely make a lot of sense at the highs there, but again, entry confirmations will be very pivotal. Monitoring the price action when we get there and how we reject the highs will be very important, because that will justify the trade or not. At the moment, we're slow, corrective, not quite seeing significant rejection, so I wouldn't be jumping into any shorts just yet. But definitely as we approach this area, shorts will be my bias unless we have a breakout. Then, of course, we can speak about some long opportunities after that. But until we get the breakout, as price approaches a high of a range, 9 times out of 10 you're looking to sell. And that is very much the situation we're in there for euro. So yeah, shorts at the highs makes sense. Price action not quite there yet for entries, but yeah, something to definitely keep an eye on for the next day or two. Pound USD, very flat as well. Again, not the biggest fan of this pair, but we are approaching some resistance. There might be some short-term opportunities for a sell as price approaches the high here again. I mean, there is somewhat of an uptrend starting to form here with some higher highs and higher lows. But would I try and look for some longs at the high here? Absolutely not. If price does go for a bit of a dive, yeah, there could be some longs that does start to set up, and then you can take some buys accordingly, back to highs and maybe further. So I can see maybe some bullish structure which is forming, but again, looking at the bigger picture, I would say the market is quite flat, so I wouldn't get too excited about the buys. I wouldn't say the conditions are brilliant anyway, but yeah, I do think price is likely to push back to resistance. So if we could dip, I think that could end up being a nice buy, maybe back into this area a bit more specifically. In the short term, there might be some selling opportunities as price comes back to retest the high, because again, similar to euro, looking quite corrective, quite tired. So if we get there, reject well, there could be some nice shorts to take advantage of. Maybe another dip down for some buys later on. I think that would be the best case scenario. But yeah, I wouldn't say we're hinting at an opportunity just yet. We're approaching resistance. Let's see how price reacts with it. If it's significant enough, provide some healthy entries. Of course, shorts make some sense. And then, of course, if we can push down, maybe some buys later on can make some sense as well. Because I think that's still where the bigger move is. A push back to this area of demand, I don't think will be the worst opportunity in the world. Again, I'm not extremely amazed with the conditions here. It is quite flat, so you're going to have to take that into account when you're looking for your positions. You're not so much looking to follow momentum, more so looking to fade it actually. So yeah, that's the best I can see for pound and euro. We'll go through pound NZD next and take a look at euro NZD as well, and then I'll go through my position and any pairs I'm looking at as well. Okay, so if we go to GBP NZD, so yeah, pound NZD, interesting. We've seen some upside. Well, it didn't really last too long, did it? I am still bullish on pound NZD. We are testing a very strong area of demand. Of course, you can see brief kind of pause there in the market. Really exaggerated bullish move to the upside. I think this was the NZD news a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. So we've seen that reaction there, and price is now coming back to that area of demand. Of course, if you look at the bigger picture, the trend is still very much up, as corrective as it is, but it is still pointing up. We are having a little bit of trouble as we approach resistance there, so that's something to keep in mind. But as we approach areas like this, there's only one thing you can really look to do, which is buy. I wouldn't be looking to try and sell. Doesn't mean price can't break through the area. It's just that I wouldn't want to be selling in that kind of area. If I'm looking to sell, it's because maybe price approaches this area, and that kind of makes sense for a short there, not down at these lows. So if anything, we're looking for some buying opportunities, but I would suggest that wick there is a big red flag. In this area, you want to be seeing convincing wicks in the opposing direction. You want to see wicks to the downside, not to the upside. So even if pound NZD does push up, it probably will be quite corrective. And I would not be surprised if it does form a lower high for us to push lower. There is still some major support below us here, which kind of held this range. I think that could be a significant level for a buy. This area of demand might not do its job. So if you are looking for shorting opportunities, I probably would focus more so around this area, trying to catch the next lower high. I think that could provide some nice shorts. If you're looking for longs, this area is not quite doing the job, and that's just my first impressions with how price is reacting. I think I'd have better luck trying to buy it on this support level. Of course, we'll see how price reacts with that area as well, provided things look good. I think we're probably better off there. And again, I'm not probably going to be looking for the home run here. I think more of a reaction type trade, just trying to buy at a significant level and then just actively managing to see how far we can take it. Maybe price does push back to highs, or maybe we push halfway and then price comes back down. Either which way, we could probably profit from that. So yeah, pound NZD, we are testing some areas of demand, so kind of backing away from the seller's buys for now. I'm not quite liking the buys here, especially how that last 4 hour candle did close. So yeah, I would like to see a bit more upside back into supply. That could end up being a really nice place for a short. And then if you can see a swing back into support again, we can discuss some longs. So depending on your bias there, a couple of opportunities to keep an eye on. Euro NZD is in a similar situation, although I like the buys a little bit more with this one because we haven't quite tested the area of demand yet. So even though we've seen a similar wick to the upside, it's not according to this area of demand. So if price does push there, it'll be the first time price is coming back to this level, and hopefully again we can see a nice reaction to the upside. For the most part, this move's been really corrective as well. So let's say if we can get a strong close above this counter trend line, that would be a great entry. Stops below the low, targets back at the high, maybe even further as well. So I quite like what I'm seeing with Euro NZD. And again, I would have a bullish bias for this one, looking at the higher time frames. This is still very much an uptrend. It's a trend which I do think is tiring and probably will see a big move low at some point in time. But let's not get too overly excited with that. Trade what's in front of you. Yes, it's a trend that might be looking to run out of steam and potentially reverse soon. I would say we're quite overextended. We're taking up COVID highs back here. So I do think we are due some downside. But who knows? Maybe we do trend for a few more weeks before that happens, and you might miss a couple of nice buying opportunities just because you're so kind of fixated with the sell. So in front of us right now, we do have still a pretty convincing uptrend. We've got a really nice area of demand there, which of course gave us that strong impulsive move to the upside. So if you can come back and retest that, provided see some healthy confirmations, maybe a strong break of the counter trend line, I think that's a great entry in itself, and a push to the high makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, Euro NZD longs, pound NZD longs for now look good, and then we'll go from there. In terms of positions I'm in, I'm still currently in Aussie yen, which is looking good. It's starting to pick up some momentum, so I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've managed to trail my stop loss into a bit more profit now, 95.658, just underneath the wick low there. I'm just giving it a bit of room just in case price does come back for a retest of the channel. But of course, don't want to give it too much room because we've got the breakout now. So if price does start to creep back underneath, I really don't want to be in the trade anymore at that point because the momentum has failed, and possibly that's a lower high for us to come back down. But so far, looking pretty good. Of course, the logic behind the trade is I'm treating this channel as like a big bull flag pattern. So this is our big impulse to the upside. This is our correction for us to continue higher. So that's basically what I'm looking to trade. That's what I'm expecting price to do. And so far, it looks like we are doing it despite momentum maybe being a bit flat. Yeah, momentum is a bit flat, but hopefully it looks like the yen basket might be looking to bleed. So if the yen basket does take a dive, which you can take a look in a second, that should help me out. But yeah, I'm only in Aussie yen for now. Hopefully we can get a push back to highs, maybe further as well. We're coming from a really big, significant level on the weekly chart, which was a pretty strong confluence for the trade. You can see a lot of resistance there on your left with a lot of wicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Had a strong break of that, simply looking for the break and retest of that zone there. Nothing complex. Yeah, it looks like we are starting to get that. I really like how last week's candle closed and the week before. Nice wick to the downside and a strong bullish engulfing candle there. Maybe not the strongest bullish engulfing candle, but it looks like support is holding. So we'll see what we get for this week. But yeah, it looks like we've got the breakout. So now I'm going to start actively trading my stop loss and locking in some gains along the way. But yeah, that's the only position I'm in at the moment. I haven't seen an abundance of opportunities, to be honest. USD, I've been paying attention to USD quite a lot, but it's been so flat. DXY is ranging until we kind of see some momentum there. I'm kind of holding my horses with USD for now. I quite like silver, I quite like gold, especially with the newfound momentum we've seen, this last week coming to this week. So pullbacks on those pairs look really, really good. And other yen pairs could start to improve. Like I said, if the basket does see a nice break of this counter trend line, which I mean it has done, I just want to see momentum start to creep in. So this is the counter trend line we've broken. If we do drop, back to these lows here, then that should really give us weakness for the yen, which of course should see some upside for the yen pairs. CAD yen starting to pick up some momentum. I was debating entries on CAD yen last week, but it was a bit too flat for me, so I've stayed away. But potentially if the yen does start to pick up, maybe we do continue. So yeah, that is where I'm at the moment. For Eurogams, CAD Swiss, Euro Aussie, okay, we can have a look see, no problem. CIS integrated, buys and DXY is bearish and support 96.9 estimated based on daily. Yeah, it's leaning towards bearish. I wouldn't say I'm bearish yet because I'm not actively looking to sell the dollar. I need it to break support here, which it has, but just not convincingly enough for me. I need price to really set some distance between price and the level. It's a very, very small close. But yeah, let's say if we do continue slightly further, then yeah, I would be bearish on the dollar, and my push would be to the low at 96.390 roughly. So yeah, I would be bearish on the dollar. It looks like we're getting there with the breakout, but then again, like let's say if this current 4-hour candle sees some strength and we close back above, then yeah, the bearish bias I had disappears. We're back above support. We could see price, see an up move back to resistance for the week ahead, because we are ranging here. We're back at support. Let's see what price really does here. If it does see a established breakout, then yeah, I would be pretty bearish. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm leaning towards a bearish bias, but need a more convincing breakout for me to be actively looking for opportunities to sell the dollar, maybe buy euro dollar, buy pound dollar, sell dollar CAD, maybe even sell dollar CHF as well. Anyway, let's go through some CHF pairs. So CAD CHF, wow, really choppy price action there. Very, very flat, equal lows, more or less equal highs, more or less, bit of a fake out there, weird price action. In terms of what we're doing on the higher time frames, well, we are well and truly bearish. Of course, price would be making lower lows and lower highs. This trend has been in full flow, and haven't really looked back since. So the market is extremely bearish. Yes, it's a market which is probably due something like this soon come, because these are all-time lows, I'm pretty sure. Yes, they are. Dating back to the early 80s, so we haven't been lower. So yeah, this is a very oversold, very overextended market, which is due definitely some upside. But timing of that can be very difficult, because we could always keep falling a little bit further before that up move does happen. So again, you might miss some nice selling opportunities. You could get burnt a lot on the way down. So yeah, being patient is definitely a key component. And of course, with the buying opportunity as well, this is due some pretty significant upside. So we don't need to be the first buyer into the market. We can wait for price to make the move, pull back, even pull back a couple times before debating to get into some longs really. So that there's no need to rush into things. There's probably going to be a lot of upside when everything does turn, when Swiss eventually does turn. When we enter a new market cycle, there will be a lot of buying opportunities, a lot of room to the upside for us to fill, but we're not quite there yet. Where we are at the moment is still within this range. So with opportunities for CAD CHF, I think there are some nice selling opportunities and buying opportunities at the moment. Of course, there's significant support. Let's say if price does, break this counter trend line. Let's say if we do fall back into the lows, this again could be a nice place for a buy. But if we take it for what it is, price is back at support, but this is a very, very bearish market. So if you do catch a buy here, you have to be actively managing that position, because in a blink of an eye, price could very much break to the downside and continue. So it's a good buy because price has reacted numerous times at this area and showed a lot of support. So it makes sense to buy again if we see another rejection. But equally so, if price starts to run out of steam like we did here and become really corrective, or just fail to push higher, provide a lot of wicks, don't be afraid to get out of that position quite early. And likewise with the sells, if price does get back to resistance again, I think this is a smart play for a short. You're still in line with the dominant trend of the market. It makes sense to sell at the highs around 0.586, where we've got resistance in the past as well. So I'll treat CAD CHF for what it is. It's a ranging market, so sell high, buy low. That's still very much the plan. If you're looking for selling opportunities in terms of momentum, then you're kind of waiting for us to break the low as well and look for some pullback opportunities afterwards. We can speak more about that when we do get the breakout. But for now, buy low, sell high. Just watch out on the buys. It is a bit more of an aggressive trade in the context of the bigger picture, but it makes sense as we have rejected the area multiple times. So if we get there again and see a nice rejection, it still does make sense for a buy. Euro CHF, on the other hand, I mean, it's in a similar situation with CAD CHF in terms of we're bearish, maybe oversold, probably due a significant up move in the next few weeks, months, potentially, but not quite here yet, and we got to not jump the gun. What I do like about Euro Swiss is, though, we are respecting support very, very well. Once, twice, a third time, a fourth time, you could argue a fifth time over there. So price has tried to break through the support on numerous occasions and has failed to do it each time pretty impressively as well. So I do think this could end up being a very strong floor for Euro Swiss and could catapult us to the upside in the long term. But I wouldn't look to buy Euro Swiss until we can get a breakout of this range here. Because if I drop to the 4-hour chart, you can see we've got the equal highs there, equal lows there. Market's just been ranging ever since. So in terms of a good opportunity for Euro Swiss, again, same with CAD CHF, looking to buy low, sell high. That's the best way to go about it. Last time we were at support, we did have a bit of a fake out, but essentially recovered. Did see a nice move. Last time we were at resistance, nice double top, nice move to the downside. So you don't have to overcomplicate it, especially when conditions are relatively straightforward like this. Flat range, avoid the opportunity in the middle. That's where a lot of the noise is. I wouldn't want to be looking for entries in this area here. As tempting as it might be, that's the worst place to get involved. If you can wait for price to push to the low or push to the high, you're just in a better place. Again, not that you will have a 100% win rate. You will take losses, but you're just more protected in these areas, whether you're looking for breakouts or you're looking for price to reject the area and come back down. It just makes a lot more sense to be looking for opportunities in those areas when we are ranging as we are. So Euro Swiss, just playing the range. Again, if we do break to the upside, there is opportunity for us to really trend and really push higher. So we can keep that in the back of our minds for now until we get the breakout. It's not really useful for us, but if we do get the breakout in the next few weeks potentially, we could talk about some buying opportunities back to some highs here. So keep an eye on that. But for now, just ranging. And Euro Aussie, similar to the analysis with Euro NZD and Pound NZD, really. I do think we're flat. I do think we're correcting, and I do think eventually we'll probably see a big move down. In terms of Euro Aussie, though, I probably would wait for a push back to the lows here before looking for any buying opportunities, just because we've had a really strong rejection at the high. Price just created some new highs there, then came back down pretty aggressively in somewhat of an inverse V-shaped pattern, impulse up, impulse down. Again, that's a pattern that normally does resemble more downside. So I do think we'll continue to fall here. Of course, another exaggerated wick to the upside. I do think we'll probably see price continue lower. This is a pretty significant level of support around just above 1.77. So I think that is still a very smart place for a buy, an area where we can see some upside from. But yeah, I wouldn't be looking at swing back to highs or banking on anything crazy. Just more so that, okay, price at good support, respecting it well. There's a good chance we can bet on a reaction here, bet on a push higher. How high? Only the market can tell us. There will be some logical areas for targets. Maybe a push back into this area, push into resistance there, and a push into resistance there could be like a final target. There'll be multiple areas where you can manage the trade from. But just in terms of a healthy place for a buy, this does look good to me, 1.77. I don't like the support here. It's not significant enough. And like I said, with the price action, this looks like a V shape. So I do think price is likely to push lower. Almost like a head and shoulder pattern, actually. Left, head, and there's your right shoulder of the wick. There's your neckline. I can see price pushing lower. So yeah, USD, I do think there's a bit of a drop to be had. And then hopefully some buys later on. So yeah, hopefully that made some sense. Still waiting to see it's integrated. Yeah, I mean, again, patience is a virtue, and especially in trading as well, because not only are you being patient to place a trade, you're also being patient for direction as well. Sometimes the markets are not looking clear, or at least not giving you a bias, a confident bias. Maybe you got a bias where it's like maybe, but you're kind of waiting for a bias where things are lining up and like, okay, you've got a good confidence that price is likely to move in direction. In terms, you'd be a bit surprised if price doesn't move there. You kind of want to have that level of confidence. Of course, being fully aware that you could be wrong at any point, but you want to make sure that the arrows are pointing in one direction, and that's the time to strike. And yeah, unfortunately, it was going to take some patience for that. But I'm sure you're well aware. What's up, Dimar? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. What is up? No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Jay Huntley, welcome to the stream. Savvy, yes, we can take a look at EuroCAD. No problem. Jay Huntley, thoughts on pound? Yep, we can take a look at pound yen as well on the 15 chart. Okay. Not a fan of that. I was having a look at pound yen this morning. And yeah, I mean, I didn't scale to the 15, but I don't think it will look pretty good. But yeah, we can take a look. Appreciate that, Bashi. Thank you. And Frank Yen as well. Okay, Swiss yen, no problem. We can take a look. Okay, so we'll go take a look at EuroCAD, GJ, and Swiss yen. And dollar yen on the 15 as well, Yusuf, no problem. Okay, so in terms of, we'll go for EuroCAD first. In terms of EuroCAD, so yeah, surprisingly, we've seen some momentum for EuroCAD. I was not expecting that. I was expecting price just bleed, really. Same with pound CAD as well, but I think that one's still on course for it. And maybe EuroCAD is too. But we did see some strength this morning. It depends what you're after for EuroCAD. If you're looking for short-term moves, I think some buys look good, because the way I see it, this looks like price just rounded off, consolidated, and saw a big shift of momentum. So if price was to revisit this area, I do think this is a smart place for a buy, and we could see price push back into this area, bounce, and see a push higher. I think that makes sense. I wouldn't necessarily bank on a push back to highs, because again, I'm looking at the bigger picture here. I still do think EuroCAD's very overextended. I think we're looking really corrective. It's tired. We're also testing major areas of resistance on the monthly chart out of all charts. If you look at the higher time frames, look at the significance of the levels we're trading at. This is not an area which I would bank for. I'll bank on continuations here. I'll be kind of pausing, wait to see what price does. Of course, if price does break out, we can speak about continuations and the trend continuing. But if you do see some strong rejections here, we could really tank. If you look at the previous times we rejected these areas, have been small moves. So we could see price push down, perhaps come back and test consolidation around there. I wouldn't be surprised. So longer term, actually hinting on a slightly more of a bearish bias for EuroCAD. But again, I don't think any of you guys are looking to trade the monthly chart. So it's good to be aware of it, but again, you're not necessarily looking to trade that. But yeah, we've seen some strength this morning. So I would suggest lower time frames, like a short-term buy back to the highs down the 50-minute chart. I think that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. A push back to the high here. Let's say if you get some healthy rejection, and then shift back to the high, and then maybe a bit further, maybe control stops, up to you. But I think that's a smart trade. So if you're looking at EuroCAD from a short-term point of view, I think that's a smart trade to take. Longer term, I'm still interested in the sells. I just don't have an opportunity to sell it just yet, especially with the price action this morning. Maybe we rally back to highs, maybe a double top could be something to speak about. Again, this is more of an aggressive trade because essentially trying to call the tops, you're trying to short the highs. So it's a bit more of an aggressive trade, but again, taking in context where we're trading, how overextended the market is, the fact that we're kind of approaching the high end of the channel, so naturally you expect to move back to the low anyway. There is some confluences that do make sense and do back up this trade, but still we are anti-trend, we are at highs, take that into consideration as well. So in terms of a short, that's the best I can see. And that makes the most sense at the moment. But like I said, if you're a bit more intraday, trying to take advantage of the here and now, there's been some nice momentum this morning. Yeah, I would suggest the pullback, a retest, could provide some nice trades on the 15, maybe 30-minute time frames. Okay, so GJ next on the 15. That's going to look absolutely horrendous. I mean, I'll start on the 4 hour, then work my way to the 15. I mean, 4 hours is not too much to say anyway. I'm basically just looking at this range here, equal lows, equal highs. Again, I'm still hinting at a weak yen, so I do think these yen pairs do have room to the upside. So I am a little bit biased for yen weakness and looking for strength across the board on the yen majors. But I'm not looking to buy that until I see that momentum come into play. So for GJ, if we are going to be in business to the upside, what I want to see is something like this. Because not only are we breaking out of this range, we're also breaking out of significant daily and weekly resistance to our left here. So if we do see a break of that, then the buys are very much on, and this becomes my next target, 207.6. So that's really what I'm waiting for. But of course, we're still trapped in the range. We could still reject the range and come right back down as well. So yeah, that could still happen. As for the 15-minute chart, though, I think 15, you're looking at some sells here. You're definitely looking at some sells as we approach the highs. You're looking at some sells, but I'll keep it short term because, again, this to me looks like really corrective behavior. It's not like we've seen convincing selling pressure here. We haven't. So I do think price eventually will push higher, but as we do approach resistance, there could be a slight down move to take advantage of. Maybe it takes us back to lows. Maybe it's just a push halfway or a third, and then price pushes higher. That comes down to your management and how you want to manage the trade. But in terms of the location, you wouldn't be looking to buy really, or at least I don't think it makes much sense to. With price looking quite corrective and approaching significant resistance, the only thing that makes sense here would be looking for a sell. So let's say if we can reach this area, reject it well, maybe a strong entry does form. I think that does make sense for a short. And like I said, maybe halfway through the move. So if I get the fib out roughly, targets around this area, I think make a lot of sense. And then maybe if things go very well, you might see a push all the way to the lows here. But yeah, and if price does break through this well, then that probably does set us up for a move back to resistance, back to 200. So there might be some pullback opportunities afterwards, so keep an eye on that as well. But for now, approach resistance. Let's see if we can get a significant reaction. If so, 198.6 area roughly. But of course, keep an eye on that trade, and then if things go very well, maybe 198 as well. But yeah, not a big fan of GJ and the 15, I must admit. I would stay away. Swiss yen and UJ we will take a look at next. Hey, appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. And of course, drop any questions or any charts you want me to take a look at. Of course, is a particular time frame, let me know as well, and I'll be happy to take a look. Expecting a push up to 60. Which one's that? Which chart is that for? Oh, push up in GJ. Yeah, I mean, I do expect us to push 200. I do think we'll see a push there, but for now, I think maybe some short-term sells might look good, depending on the reaction. Of course, if you do see some significant reaction, I like the shorts based on where we're trading. But yeah, I do think this just looks like a really corrective move, so I'm kind of getting a bull flag from this, and maybe we do something like that. But then, of course, I don't know what we do here. Maybe we come right back down. Gonna have to monitor that. But altogether, I'm not a fan of GJ on the 15. I'm a fan of GJ in general. I like the pair. It's one of my favorite pairs, actually. But it has been really choppy the past month or two, really. Actually, yeah, more than that, probably. So I haven't really been actively looking to trade it, to be honest. And again, I'm very much an opportunistic type trader. If GJ is looking good, I'm all over it. If Euro Swiss is looking good, I'm all over it. I'm always just attracted to the better opportunity, regardless of really the market it is. I'm not seeing much there in GJ that would get me excited, so I'd rather look for other opportunities or kind of wait for a better opportunity in GJ personally. As for dollar yen, actually no, we'll go for Swiss yen first, and I'll take a look at dollar yen. As for Swiss yen's another one that's a bit slow. Again, the yen pairs have been very slow, to be honest, really corrective. Some just consolidating. Swiss yen, one of those. Yeah, if yen is going to be weak, that should take us back to highs. Of course, the overall trend for Swiss yen is very much bullish. We go to the daily chart, we are very, very bullish still, and we could still see a push back to highs. So I think in terms of buys, momentum is just the key aspect, because this either is just a big correction for us to potentially sell off again. Had a strong drop down. This could just be some complex, long-winded pullback before we do continue, or it could be price bottoming out and slowly picking up the strength to get us back to highs. If it is the latter, then I want to see some strength with the buyers, because right now we're not really seeing any. And if that does continue, probably actually will get the dip. But let's say if we do start to see some strength come into play, well, the odds of us returning back to highs suddenly go through the roof there. If we do see some strength like this, doesn't necessarily have to be as big as that, but at least some strength that really shows us, okay, momentum stepping in, buyers stepping in, we're kind of breaking out of this corrective behavior, breaking out of that range. If we can get that strength, then the odds of price suddenly dropping is quite low, and the odds of us just continuing what price has been doing for a while and the overall trend in the market is pretty high to take us back to resistance. So maybe a strong breakout, pullbacks to retest the zone, that could provide some nice entry opportunities. And then, yeah, you got a nice swing back to highs, 185.8 roughly. So Swiss yen, again, I'm hinting towards a bullish bias as well. Again, I wouldn't say the market is quite ready yet for that. The breakout is pivotal. Likewise, if you break to the downside, then of course we're probably going to be heading to lows at that point. So the breakout is very pivotal to back the buys. But let's say if we do get it, great. Then targets back at the highs, hopefully a pullback to retest the zone. Then it's onwards and upwards from there on out. So yeah, Swiss yen, I'm definitely hinting at a bullish bias, looking at a lot more upside for this pair. Like I said, the yen basket looks like it's about to drop to me. It's broken through the counter trend line. Had even a retest of it as well with those wicks. So if we can see the yen basket drop, that should take us to lows here, should take us to lows there. And if the yen basket does make that drop, it will show weakness in the yen, and Swiss yen should rally. So I do lean towards a bullish bias for Swiss yen, but not ready to be traded until we get the breakout. Hey, nice, wicked. 8 likes, congratulations, Bashi. No problem, good. Again, just again, the FX community is here to learn and grow together. But again, congratulations, good to see the channel growing. Swiss yen on, what's the EF? Swiss yen on the EF is still bullish, reading 5. What's the EF? It's anyone that will go make it. That's funny. It's like you're going physically to see me. Oh, Edgefinder, duh. Yeah, completely forgot. Yeah, but bullish. Yeah, probably would have a bullish reading because Swiss is still, I think, a little bit strong at the moment, and I think if the yen is going to be weak, that should really help things out. In terms of UJ, before I forget, for Yusuf on the 15, yeah, UJ again so flat. Are you actually looking to trade this Yusuf, or you just want my opinion on it? I mean, if you look at, oh, what happened there? Didn't know I could do that. Yeah, in terms of UJ, this is just really, really flat. So if you're looking for opportunities here, you're just looking to buy off support. You know, prices test this area a considerable amount of times and rejected very, very well many times. So you're basically looking to buy as low as possible, pick the lows off, and then see if you can catch a reaction to the upside. That reaction might only take you this far, and then price comes back against you. It might take you to the opposing side of the range, which would be a great trade. But that's the best opportunity in these conditions. Looking for trend following, trying to follow momentum is just literally the wrong play here because momentum isn't being continued. You can see we've seen momentum there, price came straight back down. Momentum here, price went right back up. Momentum here as well, went back up as well. So momentum isn't being sustained, continued. You don't want to be looking for trend following opportunities. This is where you look to try and pick lows, and you've got good reason to do so because anywhere in this area has proven to hold price, and likewise resistance there. Not as well, of course, but definitely around support. So yeah, that's where the buys make sense, and especially if you drop to the 15, you can really pick a nice entry. So yeah, I would suggest again, let's see if we were to push back to lows, see another rejection like we did over here, like we did over there. Not so much over there, but these two rejections were very nice. I would suggest some more entries similar. And again, a push back to maybe these highs or these highs. And then either call it a day or stick some trading stops just to see how far we can go. Maybe price does come back down here, or maybe we break out and continue further. And if you have a nice trading stop, who knows how far we could rally. So yeah, on the 15-minute chart for UJ, still at some really nice support. You're just looking to pick the lows, no more complicated than that. I wouldn't look for any trend following opportunities, any trend following techniques. Almost redundant in these areas. But yeah, in terms of an entry itself, because we're kind of floating above it, I would wait for a push down. 146.750 roughly, anywhere kind of within that area. Then yeah, provided we see a nice entry, I think this is definitely a place for a nice buy. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with UJ. Oh, okay. Free for this week. Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things about it too. I know Mark uses it as well, and he use it quite a lot by the looks of it. So I've heard good things about the Edge Finder. Yusuf, I'm not trading anything today except for euro and gold. Fair enough. I like that, especially gold. Gold's got a lot of direction to it, so you're literally just looking to buy the lows with gold if it does have some decent pullbacks. Euro, since it's at resistance, basically same opportunity as dollar yen. I wouldn't be looking to buy it unless I see evidence of a breakout. If not, euro is pretty much at resistance. Best thing to do there is look for opportunities to short as well, provided we see some. I'm also looking to long UJ on the bottom of the range, but I'm not confident in that. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, confidence comes with just practicing taking the same opportunities again. If you're not confident in the setup in terms of the strategy behind it, buying dips in a range, and that's also something you can experiment with. Demo trade, build up some confidence, back test. If you're just not confident with the setup itself, you're confident with the strategy, but just not the setup, then of course it's best to stay away, because you don't want to take a trade when you're not confident, because you'll mismanage the trade. Emotions will be heightened. Emotions are there enough when trading, but if you're not confident with anything, it's just gonna times it by 10, and that's just not good, because even if you do successfully manage the trade well, you're just gonna be very, very stressed out, and trading stress is not good at all. So if you're not confident with anything, always stay away. You can always just whack open. you can open like a demo account. Any unconfident positions or positions you're not sure about, but you think there might be a trade, there's no point putting it on the live account or any account of value to you. Put it on a demo account where it means nothing really. That way you can track it and also kind of get the itch by actually trading it as well. You can scratch the itch. Because you might want to trade it, but you might not feel confident to do so. So stick on the demo account. You can track it there. There's no risk to it either. And you can save your confident positions you really do like and backing, and there's good, confluence with them. Then you can take them on your main accounts, on your serious accounts. But Euro shorts, UJ buys make sense to me because of where we're trading. Okay, can't justify it cost me being 1 minute trader when I get spare money. Yeah, especially 1 minute as well. I think fundamentals are good, but I think a lot of the information's a bit more tailored towards swing. Intraday, yeah, I think, of course, I haven't actually looked too much into the hedge fund myself, but from what I've seen, it's a bit more kind of maybe day trading / swing trading, probably more so swing trading actually. I think swing traders probably find a bit more use there. M1, your trade could be done in the next 20 minutes potentially. And that's to do a bit more fluctuation, a bit more of the intricacies of the market rather than, economic policies, which of course it would be good to help with a bias in that. So I understand that degree, but in terms of when you're actually getting involved, that's just the market kind of fluctuating within itself. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Okay, helps me when trade pound CHF and pound yen. Okay. Yeah, of course, confluence is help. I do understand that. But you'll be able to take advantage of the fundamental bias if you're holding for like 2-3 days versus like 20 minutes. Because 20 minutes you can see price fluctuate and completely just ignore whatever the fundamental play is. But over the next 2-3 days, if for whatever reason fundamentally yen is being backed more than the Swiss, you should see that edge kind of actually play out over 2-3 days. Even 2-3 days you can see nonsense happen as well, but the fundamental edge should kind of play out over like that time scale versus like 20 minutes as well. Of course, you could still see it happen over 20 minutes, but just less likely. So that's why I kind of think it's a bit more tailored towards swing. But there's definitely some use in it, of course. So yeah, TradingView is a very, very good software, website software. To be fair, I was using MT4 to trade on and analyze for the first 2 years of my trading. TradingView was around. It was very early stages of TradingView, but it was around at that time. I heard of it, but never really got to it. Then I started using it about 2 years in. I was like really liking the analysis. TradingView's actually changed so much over the past like 6-7 years. I was really liking the analysis, and I eventually did sign up to it. And in terms of MT4, MT5, I only use that for execution of my positions, but 95% of my analysis is on TradingView. I might just check things over when I do get to my brokerage, but yeah. In terms of TradingView, in terms of analysis, I haven't come across a platform that is close to TradingView. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't even need the premium. You can just get the basic plan. The basic plan will do the job as well. But of course, there's a lot of perks in terms of indicators and data as well. But yeah, TradingView, definitely a good purchase. I think if you are looking for any kind of things to buy, I think TradingView is number one. In terms of journaling software, you can literally use Excel or whatever kind of document equivalent, even Word, even pen and paper, really. But I think you do need it on your computer because you do want to have screenshots. I think screenshots are really important of your before and afters of your trade. So I would suggest having some type of documents you can keep on your computer, unless you're really good at drawing and you can draw the trades on your sketch pad. But then, yeah, I would definitely keep things on software. So even like journaling stuff, you can keep that very, very simple. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. In terms of recording trades, again, Excel spreadsheet for that as well. Trading plan, you can write that down if you want as well. You don't need anything fancy for that as well. You can keep things very, very simple, but the only thing I would suggest you should look to try and invest in is definitely TradingView. That's a platform that, for the past 5 years easily, I think it's well worth it. Yeah, Notion as well. Notion's free as well. I know it's got a paid bit, but it is free mostly, and you can use it as well. But yeah, in terms of pairs, I'm interested to trade this week. I did have a trade in New Zealand CAD last week, but I did exit that trade early because it wasn't going to plan. I did take a position over here, and I had some stops above the high here. I would have taken a loss there, so I did well to exit the trade. But yeah, I had a trade that more or less looked like this. Maybe the stop loss was a little bit further down, but more or less in this area, and the entry was on that candle. And the plan behind the trade was, we've seen initially a really strong breakout, which happened a couple of weeks back, and then I was looking for the pullback. I was treating this as the pullback of the move. Nice correction. Of course, came back for the retest. We saw a lot of wicks to the upside, and the plan was, can we find a continuation? Can we see price continue that momentum and spill over? Because on the higher time frames, it looks to me that price is really flat, and now we're starting to break lower. Now we're starting to see some lower highs. Now we're starting to see some lower lows as well. And I still do expect that to happen. I still do expect to see New Zealand CAD come back and revisit these lows, potentially even these lows as well. So I'm really bearish on New Zealand CAD. I'm still actively looking to short the pair. But I did take the position, expect the momentum to continue. We didn't get that initially, but because price was still respecting the structure, I did stay in the position. I only did exit when actually price broke above the high here. So this candle here, if I zoom in, this candle's here when I did exit the position and take the small loss. It was like minus 0.4R around there. Again, very, very minimal loss, but again, when I'm looking to take these type of entries, it does rest upon momentum continuing in my favor. So if I'm seeing some signs of momentum not going for me, then I need to be out of that position. I need to be out of that position really quickly, because the whole idea of the trade is that we've seen the retest, now momentum is picking up. Because if I was looking to take the early entry in the break and retest, I could have entered a lot earlier around here. This is more kind of taking advantage of the retest itself, looking to catch the reaction. This is a much later entry, but the idea of this entry is that there's already momentum in the market and you're looking for that to continue. If it's not continuing, get out of that position. The idea is fading, of course. So as price did start to break sharp to the upside, that was my cue to get out of the trade. Of course, it would have been a losing position, so I think well managed for that. I still am looking to find some short opportunities to get back into another trade, because I do expect price to continue lower. The two areas I am fixated on for New Zealand CAD is this area of supply and this support time resistance. These are the two levels I'm looking to short from. So of course we have rejected this previously. We're back there again. Do we reject it again? Maybe. If so, great. I think that's a great place for a short, and of course equally so this supply area, because of course that's where the real momentum came from. And if I do expand to the daily chart, this is technically our last lower high, which gave us this low. So this is our structure I'm following. This is the leg I'm essentially looking for the pullback of. So as long as price doesn't take out this high here, I remain bearish and I remain looking to short the pair. If price does break this to the upside, well, that completely just puts to bed my bias. We're breaking shot to the upside again. At that point, we're probably back within the range. And yeah, I'm not looking for opportunities, but we've seen a substantial break lower. The plan is, can I find a continuation of that? If not here, then here. So New Zealand CAD, definitely a pair I'm looking to trade this week. At the moment, rejecting that level slightly, but I need momentum to pick up before I do find entries, or of course if you do break higher, I'm looking around 0.817. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with New Zealand CAD, pair I've been trading recently as well. Of course I did take some Euro USD shorts a few weeks ago now, which again I did exit pretty quickly. I was in the trade on the 8-hour chart as well, but I did exit this one. Where is it? I did exit. I entered here, exited here, had my stop loss here. So again, pretty small loss, like 0.3 on that one of my whole risk. So pretty small loss, but again, momentum wasn't there, so I got out pretty quickly. And now price is just back within the range. So the plan is now waiting for the breaks before getting back involved. But at the moment, the only position I am in is Aussie Yen, which for the most part is going pretty well. I'm still looking for a bit more momentum to really kind of get the ball rolling, but we've got the breakout, so I cannot complain. That was going to be a key element for us, and it looks like we've got the breakout, even though it is a little bit flat still. But yeah, hopefully we can see the push back to highs. I will actively continue to trail my stops. I think if I can see a more convincing break here, I might look to lock in stop loss underneath this low now. Now I'm going to be a bit more aggressive with the trading stop. Here, I wanted to give the trade a bit more room because I know that we can fluctuate before we do get the breakout. Now that we've got the breakout, there's no need for price to have the deeper pullback. I'd rather look for re-entries than be in a situation where price comes back down against me. So now that we are seeing momentum, and if that does continue, I'll look to try and trail below the low there. But yeah, the stop loss at the moment is still here for now. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think yen might be on a move here. I do think that a lot of yen pairs are getting ready for that. Euro yen still super flat, but I feel like this again is probably going to continue high. I'm still really bullish on Euro yen on the higher time frames. I still do think Euro yen is likely to push back to highs here at 175.327. So I still would really like that. I still think that's the likely move. Looking to trade is where it gets a little bit tricky because of how flat we are. I think the best opportunity, or the clearest one, would be if price can break highs and then look for some pullbacks of that, so we can kind of continue this bullish structure here in a weird way. Not the cleanest opportunity, but I think that's the best kind of outcome, best scenario. But yeah, I am leaning towards a bullish side of things here for the yen pairs. So, and now that Aussie yen is kind of risk free, and in worst case scenario, we'll walk away for profit. Actually, I don't mind jumping into another yen position. What's that? Yeah, I mean, backtesting software, you can just use replay tool on TradingView. Don't even need anything more than that, to be honest. Of course, there are backtesting softwares out there which aren't too expensive, to be honest, but again, if you got a subscription to TradingView, you can just literally use the replay tool. That will do the job as well. Again, backtesting, especially for what it is, especially if you have like a discretionary trading, strategy, so it's not mechanical, it's not absolute. You can very much use TradingView for that. Keeps things simple, and then of course you can record your results as well. Journal for your trades, again, keep that very simple. Word document, Excel, keep it simple. Again, there's other softwares if you want, but you don't necessarily need in the beginning. Yeah, of course, other tools as well you can look at. There's a lot of tools you can look at, but in terms of the sheer basics, I think TradingView fits it. A Word document to record screenshots and notes. Excel maybe to record your results and backtest the results. I think that's the three essentials. And you're good to go. And of course, you can expand on that. You can add a lot more stuff. There's a lot of services you can sign up for. But I say that's your basics. Step 3 for me. Yeah, I do recommend it. Yeah, of course, in prop firms definitely as well, especially once you start to find your feet in the market as well. I think you don't want to rush into anything with prop firms, especially because a lot of people are kind of attracted by the side of it and just jump straight to it. I definitely would make sure that you're seeing some consistency first before you do approach a prop firm. But yeah, I think prop firm would be the fifth step. Yeah, of course. But again, you do have to take back testing results with a pinch of salt, especially if you have a discretionary strategy in terms of it provides your thinking involved. Unless it's completely mechanical, as you do no thinking, it's just A, B, C, D, take the trade. If it's completely mechanical, then of course, in terms of losing streaks, win rate, risk to reward, all of that, trade duration, all of that will be kind of absolute for you. But if there's discretion, you do have to take those metrics that you do find in your back testing with a pinch of salt, because they will differ in live markets. Not just because it's now live market conditions, so you might be a little bit affected by that. But just so conditions can change, markets can change. Your average duration might be 1 hour, but now it's 1 hour and 30 because maybe market's a little bit slower. So you don't want to take all those metrics to heart. It just gives you a good reference point. But be very much prepared that things can change. Your win rate might be 50%, but it could be up to 65% in the live markets. And then a new phase could happen, a new environment can change, and it drops to 45. So you have to be prepared for that. Yeah, of course. You need a plan. You need to see some consistency within that plan as well. Of course, rules to have as well. Yeah, it does make you kind of think about that side of trading a lot more. If you don't have your ducks in a row in terms of strategy, plan, how you're going to trade, how you're going to manage positions, even in terms of your managing yourself, emotions, losing streaks. If you do get into some drawdown, how you're going to get out of it, how you're going to manage that. Do you have some set rules where you say, okay, I've taken 3 losses here, I'm going to take a little bit of a break and come back, or you're going to keep trading emotionally. All those little things will, of course, play a part. So having a very detailed plan, the more detailed the plan, the better. Always the more detailed the plan, the better. But yeah, having all those kind of set up is really going to help you succeed. If you don't have those things set up before and you're kind of just doing it on the fly, you're going to get on the fly results really. But yeah, I mean, prop firms will definitely enforce that, because if not, you're not going to perform too well. In terms of some of the indices, I haven't actually spoke about any of them today, and I also want to speak about some of the cryptocurrencies as well, because they're looking fairly interesting. But indices, for the most part, I'm still quite bullish on. My favorite one would be the DAX. I quite like how everything is setting up there, especially the location of everything. We are testing some very significant support. Actually, if I just use the rectangle tool, that'll be a bit more useful. So you can see where we're trading. This is a very pivotal level in the market. And if we do reject this area and see some upside, I do think price can see a lot of upside back to these highs, potentially even further as well. Of course, if price does break to the downside, then we probably could see a push back to 23,420. So despite the direction, there's probably a big move to be had with the DAX here. I quite like how corrective we are. It's quite slow, quite corrective, not seeing much momentum, which implies we're more likely to see a push up. There is a bit of a counter trend line at play here, which I think I would keep an eye on. You kind of want price to close well above this. That itself would be a really nice entry signal. And of course, stops underneath the support level makes the most sense. But yeah, going forward with the DAX, very bullish on this. Of course, if I zoom out to the bigger picture as a whole, you can see that the market is still very, very bullish as a whole. I do think we're likely to push back to highs at some point. The only way I would be discouraged by that bias is, if we do break through support here. And if that happens, then either shorts on the breakout makes sense, or even waiting for a pullback and a retest make just as much sense as well. Probably get a better entry actually if you wait for that. And then a push back to lows, of course, makes the most sense. So despite the direction, despite the move for the DAX, I think there's some really nice opportunities in both directions. And just in terms of actually waiting for an entry signal, like I said, for the buys, especially if you're looking at the 4-hour chart, a break of the trend line to the upside, I think really does set up a nice position. If, of course, we see a healthy close below, then you're looking to short where the breakouts or the retest. So just keep an eye on price in reference to the counter trend line. That should really help in terms of timing entries well. But for now, we're at a very significant support. So this is why I like the DAX. Other markets, not so much. I mean, US 30 I'm still pretty bullish on. I mean, I really liked the price action last week for US 30 because we did go and break through really significant resistance. So as you can see, price did break through this area really, really well. And we had a massive candle last Friday, I think, the Friday before last. As we had the breakout, then of course price came back for the retest here. And we did see some nice upside from there onwards. So I quite like what I saw there from US 30. And of course, we have continued back into resistance there. I would suggest, if you're looking for entries for US 30, another push back to support would make the most sense. So we can probably bet on a double bottom forming, then maybe a push back to highs at that point. That's kind of what I'd be looking for. If price does break underneath this area, then that would be a massive red flag, because then this would equate to a big fake out, and then I would be very much bearish after that, looking at a continuation back into these lows. So US 30, not great if we do break, but I mean, I say not great. I mean, it's not great for the bullish bias. It could be really great. There could be some very nice shorts on the way down. So it's not that it's not great. It's just it doesn't continue the bullish bias. For us to stay bullish, in my opinion at least, we do need to stay above this area. As for now, it just looks like price is having a really tough time trying to break the highs. So it looks like we probably will see a push down anyway. So then we can just see what price does at the lows. Reject well, great. We can look for some buys. If we crash through, probably wait for price to settle first, but probably be looking for some sells shortly afterwards. In terms of NAS 100, I would be bullish on this one as well, but we are quite flat now, so I'm seeing a lot of indecision. We tried to break to the upside last week, that failed, did turn into a bit of a fake out. Again, I think a pushback to highs makes sense. Again, if I look at the higher time frames, there's nothing there. There's nothing there to discourage me from having a bullish bias. I know the market is a bit stretched. I do think at some point in time, we are, of course, going to have a bit of a drop. Maybe it's now, maybe it's in a few weeks' time. I don't know. But I do think we are quite overextended. We are likely to drop soon. But until I see confirmations that back that up, or signs that back that up, I'm not going to look to try and jump the gun with the sells just yet, especially with NAS 100 with a market like this, which just climbs higher. Trying to predict when we have that sell-off is anyone's guess, really. So, I would stay bullish for now. In terms of actually buying it, I mean, unless you're intraday, trying to buy the lows here does make sense. Of course, you can see very significant support to your left there. Price does reject there again. Still a nice place for a buy, but again, I wouldn't bank on a pushback to highs necessarily. Maybe a pushback to resistance there, then I call it a day. or maybe that resistance up there, then I call it a day. I'm also looking to trade the range more so than the trend here, because we are really struggling now, especially with that breakout. So yeah, Nas still bullish, but choppy conditions, buying low, really, that's the plan. If of course we do break to the downside, then we probably are going to push back to these lows. Then at that point, you're probably looking for a retest and some shorts there. But we'll speak on that if it does happen. For now, looking at the bounce. And for S&P 500, for the S&P 500, again, still bullish. I mean, this one is creating new highs, so I do like that aspect. New highs there, new highs there. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. But yeah, we are looking quite corrective now, so I'm not too sure if I want to be looking to buy the S&P right now. On a short term basis, yeah, I think we can probably catch a nice bounce off here. But you can see how kind of we're starting to squeeze now. That's a sign of a market that's tiring and probably getting ready for a drop soon. Again, I don't necessarily want to try and call that. It's difficult to do that. But at the same time, I'm seeing those red flags, so I'm taking that into consideration with these buying opportunities, and not trying to, you know, have over what's the word? Not trying to, you know, force targets which don't really make sense. So let's say if price does push back to these lows well and rejects well, yeah, I think that's a great place for a buy. You know, we could see very much another higher low form. There's probably some trendline confluence connecting the dots here. So it does make sense for a buy. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a push up and then price bleeds. So yeah, be careful with the buys now. We're starting to see some red flags coming into play. We are still bullish just about, but these areas are starting to dry up with momentum. Sellers are, you know, stepping in a little bit, not seeing as convincing new highs being created. Yeah, we are starting to dry up. Favorite data point is losing and winning streak and trade duration. Yeah, I mean, there's benefit known to the losing and winning streak. I mean, again, you want to keep it with probabilities as well. There's actually, if you check out a website called, what's the website called again? I forget what it's called. It's an equity curve simulator, but it will give you kind of a bunch of probabilities. So if you crunch like the numbers of like an average win rate, average risk to reward, it will show you like your max losing streak, your max winning streak. So if your win rate's like 60% and your average risk reward's 1 to 2 or something like that, it will crunch the numbers and show you the max losing streak, the max winning streak you could potentially envision. It's good to know the max kind of losing streak, and it's good to know the max winning streak as well, but definitely the max losing streak, because let's say if the max losing streak is 10 trades and if you lost 5, there's no point to start throwing your toys at the pram and start losing your mind because you lost 5 trades in a row, when, you know, if you crunch the probabilities of your win rate and of your risk to reward, you could potentially lose 10. So, you know, it does put things into perspective. Sometimes you use 3-4 trades, you think, oh no, the strategy's not working anymore, when if you actually crunch the numbers, you know, it's probably well in reason. So it's good to know those metrics. Is trade duration really important? I usually just trail my stops. I never pay attention. I can leave trades to go on as long as it needs. Trade duration is important, I suppose, a bit more in the lower time frames. And I mean, the higher time frames, it is important in terms of swap as well, because that will be a cost every day you hold it over. If the swap is negative, of course, you will be paying swaps, which is minimal. It's not such a huge cost where it's like outweighing the profits or eating a lot into profits. I mean, maybe the yen pairs can pack a punch, and definitely the exotics can do that. That's why I stopped trading exotics, because the swaps were too crazy. Although they are quite nice when you are in favor of the positive swaps though and selling them. But yeah, the only thing to keep into account with trade duration really is maybe what to expect. Like if your average trade duration is like 10 days, you know, well, if you're only a couple days in, you're probably not getting too excited about things. You know, you could still be holding for a while longer. So in terms of expectation, it can help. But yeah, I'm very similar to you, Yusuf. I don't really have a cap to trade duration. If I need to be in the trade for a couple of hours, or a couple of weeks, or a couple of months potentially, so it will vary quite a lot. So I'm not so fussed about it. But yeah, if I am trading a negatively a swap with, if I'm trading a pair of negative swap, maybe I paid a bit more attention, but I wouldn't do anything different to be honest, because swap, the way I see it, is just part of the game. It's just another cost you're gonna have to stomach, unless you only want to trade in the direction of positive swap, but then you'll probably miss out on quite a lot of opportunities. But yeah, with me, trade duration isn't that important, but it's good to know what to expect really. Hey Lighton, what's up my man? Welcome to the stream, hope you are well. Good to have you back, my man. Any pairs you're looking at, feel free to share. Yeah, in terms of US 30 and NAS, I would still say I'm bullish on those. We're still above structure, still very consistent with higher highs and higher lows. So to me, direction is still up, but I am seeing some clear signs that maybe these guys are running out. Maybe we could be looking at that bigger correction sooner than expected. But again, if I'm looking to buy, if I'm looking to trade the NAS, not NAS, sorry, if I'm looking to trade the S&P, it would still be buying opportunities. I quite like support there. Some nice confluence, provided we see some healthy rejection. I think that's a smart place for a buy. US 30, not so much in terms of buying right now. I think we're still stuck at resistance and still having a bit of trouble. So I wouldn't be so eager to jump into longs here. And again, I'm speaking more from like a swing idea, a swing trade point of view rather than day trading. But yeah, I like the outlook here for some longs. Double bottom, perhaps a continuation of that. Again, we are trading above very significant resistance, so I quite like having that to my back and buying from that area. But in terms of direction, trend is still very much up for US 30 as well. NAS trend still very much up as well. So yeah, still would be bullish on these guys, but I'm getting some warning signs that they're experiencing some trouble, some fatigue. Could push lower later on. Lighton, what single use these are? Yes, we can take a look at that. Dollar CAD as well, no problem. What's up, Sangar? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Tell me your thoughts on gold for the week ahead. No problem. We can speak about gold as well. Let's go through USD ZAR and dollar CAD. Then we can take a look at gold. Temil, what's up? Greetings from Turkey. Nice. Whereabouts in Turkey? USD, yes, we can take a look as well. Okay, let me go take a look at USD ZAR first. Okay, so USD ZAR, okay, nice reaction from this level. I'm actually taking a look at, I haven't looked at USD ZAR this week, so this is my first time looking at the pair. Nice reaction at the highs. Of course, we still got that humongous, lovely level of support below us, and that's really where the attention is, because price seems to be paying a lot of attention there itself. So that's where I want to focus my efforts as well. Of course, a slight fake out, but essentially price did hold the level. So again, in terms of finding a nice trade, I do think price eventually will break through this support level. As I've said for the past probably couple of months now, I still do think USD-ZAR does make its way back to support here, especially after the rejection we saw a few weeks ago. Really aggressive wick rejection into the high, just about pinched it, rejected really aggressively. It looks like, you know, this uptrend is kind of on its last legs. It might be going for a bigger correction before perhaps we continue. So I do think USD-ZAR does make it back to this low and probably breaks through as well. So I am bearish longer term, but I wouldn't be looking to short USD-ZAR until I see a convincing break of this support. Let's say if we do get the break this week, yeah, that's a convincing sign to us to say that, okay, USD is weak again. The trend is likely to continue. This support, which has held buyers very, very well, is broken. the odds of us now continuing bearish is pretty high. So pullback opportunities, perhaps a retest of that zone could look really good. Then you got the support level just below you around 17. So in terms of short bias, this is what I would be waiting for. In terms of just looking for opportunities regardless, I think this is still a great place for a buy. It's rejected price on many occasions now. So if we do get there again, and provided we see some more healthy entry confirmations, I think the buys still make a lot of sense. Even though my logic and my analysis tells me we're likely to eventually break through. For one, I could be wrong. Maybe price doesn't break through. And number two, I don't necessarily know when price is going to break through. Price might want to consolidate and bounce on this area for a few more weeks before that does happen. And in that regard, there could be a few more buying opportunities you can profit from before we do see the breakout. And then hopefully you can profit from the sell as well. So you can really milk USDZAR for what it's worth there. So I would still keep an eye for the buys. It's still a very solid level of support. If we can get there again, reject well, buys make sense. If it doesn't play out and we do break to the downside, great. The shorts look just as good, if not better. And hopefully you can get a retest of that area. And we can take it back to 17. So that's really my take on USDZAR. Just focus on this level, depending how price plays it. There's an opportunity in both directions, really. But it's just about understanding how price reacts with the area and then taking sufficient entries. That's really where the skill is. In terms of dollar CAD I'm really bearish on already. I quite like what I'm seeing with dollar CAD. There's a pair on my watch list which I'm actively looking to try and short. I do need a pullback first before I do get any opportunities. This is the area which I'm waiting for price to pull back into. But for the most part, I really like what I'm seeing. The reason why I really like this opportunity is because on the higher time frame, we're rejecting a very, very key level. You got really strong resistance once, twice, a third time, a fourth time, potentially again a fifth time. And again, when we have rejected this area in the past, it hasn't been small moves. It's been pretty strong moves from this area. So it means that should we reject this area again, we could probably expect to see a push all the way back down here. That wouldn't be such a crazy move to expect. At the very least, I'll expect us to get here. And this is the weekly time frame, let's not forget. So a push here is not a small move in the slightest. If I measure in pips from current price, you're still looking at about 160 pips, 170 pips to the lows there. And you're looking at about 500 down there. Of course, I'm not expecting us to take advantage of that move in one trade. But it's nice to know the longer term view potentially of where dollar CAD could be heading towards. Not only if you want to swing trade, you can hold positions further. And even if you want to take multiple positions down, you can get in, get out, get in, get out. And take a small piece of the pie as price progresses. But in terms of the opportunity, this is really where my focus is. Really nice area of demand. And we do have a nice supply zone there. Really strong drop there. If price was to come back and revisit that area, retest it, that would be a really nice place for a short, in my opinion. Find a retest of that area, entries in that area. And at least for this week anyway, a push back to the low there makes sense. I wouldn't necessarily bank on this happening in a week, but let's say if we do pull back for the first half of the week, Monday, Tuesday, maybe a bit Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, see a continuation. I think that's a nice trade for the week. Maybe we might go a bit further. But yeah, dollar CAD, I like what I see. I can't complain. Euro NZD, no, gold first, then we'll take a look at Euro NZD. Okay, so over to gold. So gold, I like what I'm seeing in terms of the breakout. Of course, it looks like price has made its mind up in terms of what it wants to do, because we have just been trapped within a range for the past couple of months, it's felt like at least. And now, of course, we're seeing some upside here. So we've got the all-time highs, which are marked on at 3,500. Looking for price to at least get there. And then we'll go from there. Potentially we see price breakthrough. Potentially we go and attack 3,600. That would be the next big psychological level. But in terms of opportunities for gold, if this is the real deal, if this is the breakout, there's only one thing to do, and that's just buy the dips, buy the pullbacks. Nothing more than that. I've marked on this area of consolidation, this area of demand really. If we can revisit that, I think that's a nice entry in the lower time frames, hourly chart, maybe even 15 if you really want to scale right down. I think that makes a lot of sense. The only thing we don't want to see from a bullish bias for gold is price close back within the range. So of course this is the range high mostly where we've been rejecting. What we don't want to see is price close back below. If it does that, then this is a fake out. We're back at square one. Probably after that, we're speaking about some shorts for price to come lower. So that's what we don't want to see. But if price does remain above this, you're just looking to buy the pullbacks really and anticipating that momentum to continue. So the bias for the week is bullish, expecting a push back to 3,500, probably some new highs as well. And in terms of Euro NZD, again, I do have a bullish bias for this as well. The overall trend for Euro NZD is still very much up. We're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. I like the trend here. I do think we are a little bit overextended, and at some point we should be seeing a move back down. Yeah, I think we are due one of those. But again, we've got to trade what's in front of us. We might be going to see that move happen eventually, but let's not try and predict that. The market can still trend for a couple more weeks before that does happen. And in that time, there could be some nice buying opportunities on the way up. But you don't want to be too stubborn and miss out on that. So for now, the buys still look good. We are approaching the area of demand where we had this really aggressive push from. A test of that area could see a continuation. For the most part, this bearish move has been really corrective, showing signs that it's likely a pullback for us to attack higher. What would be a nice entry would be a strong close above this counter trend line, because of course price is doing such a fantastic job at respecting this area. Again, this morning, really aggressive wick to the upside, respecting the same trend line. So clearly price is really struggling to break above that. So a break above it will actually have some significance and probably kickstart the bullish move, especially if you can come off the back of testing this area. So for Euro NZD, I would wait for another push lower. Then let's see if we can get a nice strong close, especially in the 4-hour chart, back above the counter trend line. That itself would be a nice entry, and then hopefully a push back to highs. So yeah, that would be the plan for Euro NZD. So yeah, that's kind of where my thoughts are on Euro NZD. Still bullish for now. Okay guys, so regarding the platform we spoke about earlier, our purchase platform we've been working on, again we've been speaking about a competition we're looking to do on the platform, and again it'll be a competition, the trading competition. You'll be trading on the platform itself. Let me get the platform up. It'll be trading on the platform itself, and again the best trader, essentially the best performance, will be rewarded. And we're gonna just, at the moment anyway, well, with the form I'm about to share, just get emails, get people who's interested, more details about the actual challenge and the rules and the parameters of the challenge we'll discuss with you guys later on. But I just want to understand who is actually interested, and if you could just drop your email and fill out this Google form, that would be very much appreciated. I'll probably share it again during tomorrow's stream, and probably a few more times as well. But again, it's just a fun challenge. Participate in the challenge itself. Maybe you're new to perps trading. It's very similar to how you trade CFDs. You're speculating on price moving up and down. Components are slightly different, but it's the same idea essentially. On the platform at the moment, it's only cryptocurrency, so that's what you'll be trading. But in the future, there will be FX, indices, commodities as the platform does grow. But yeah, if you're interested in the challenge, check out the link, drop your email there, and there'll be some other information. And then again, in terms of the rules, the details, that will come out. Just a bit of fun, no risk involved. Be on the demo server as well. And like I said, there will be prizes for the best performing traders. So if you're interested, make sure you go check out and fill in the form. So okay, so did Euro NZD speak 7 languages? Oh my, that is insane. Put me to shame, Bash. I only speak 1. Okay, flew into, but a little and a lot. Fair play, yeah. That is impressive. Yeah, that's true. Of course, we've got NFP on Friday as well, so that should be some nice fireworks for us. It'll be interesting though, because I kind of expect gold to be well on its way by Friday. If gold is still kind of dancing around the range high, that's a bit of a worry, I'm not gonna lie. Because we've seen the breakout, we saw the breakout kind of last Friday actually. Of course, this morning's kind of continued that. If gold means business, by Friday we should be above 3,500 really. Because we've seen a lot of momentum, I do not want to see that slow down, or at least slow down too much. If it does slow down a lot, I wouldn't be surprised if Friday takes us back in the range, to be honest. But we'll monitor things. That's just me thinking out loud. I'll monitor price as it does develop throughout the week. But yeah, for now, very bullish. Just looking at pullbacks and more upside. No problem, Lighten. Happy to help. Learning trading language. Yeah, you can say that, Yusuf. I would say trading. It's its own language. I appreciate it, Bashi. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does really help out. Share with your friends. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Yeah, I do really appreciate that. Of course, any questions, any pairs you're looking at, drop it down in the old chat. It is very much appreciated. Actually, this might just come across dumb. Well, at least you're keeping your cards close to your chest. You're not easy to read. That's probably smart in itself as well. But yeah, guys, only in Aussie yen at the moment. I haven't actually been. I've been somewhat active in the markets. Probably average maybe 1 or 2 trades a week for the past maybe couple of months now, which is, to be honest, about average. But again, it has been the summer months, so it's not always the most impressive time in the year for price action, for big moves. So as we approach September, which of course we are in September, October, November, and probably the first half of December as well, that's really where we should see some nice volume step in and some big moves potentially, and hopefully some more opportunities as well. But yeah, I think my focus for the week, I do have 2 pairs which I really like at the moment. That could change in terms of more pairs being involved, but the 2 pairs I really like this week is actually 3 pairs, actually 4 pairs. I forgot about 2. They're very much the same as the other, but the 2 pairs I was initially speaking about was New Zealand CAD shorts. I really like this from either the level we're testing now or the supply zone up there. So I really like New Zealand CAD shorts. I really like dollar CAD shorts from this area here. So those are the two ones I really like. And then the other 2 just because of momentum in the break as we're seeing. Gold longs, if gold does pull back and retest the zone, I'll be happy to take a trade there, provided I see some momentum. And silver, pretty much the same situation, very similar markets, but maybe silver gives me a better setup, so keep an eye on silver as well. But same idea, momentum, clearing highs. Now just looking to buy the dips with the anticipation that we do continue this momentum and we continue to fly. Both in uptrends, both look really good, both seem new momentum step in. Now let's see if we can take advantage of that. So yeah, initially coming to the week, New Zealand CAD and dollar CAD were the 2 that I really do like. But now that I've seen this momentum on gold and silver this morning, yeah, they found themselves on my watch list as well. So those 4 I really like. There's probably like 5 or 6 more that do have the potential to look good as well. And for my interest, I mean, depends what the dollar does this week, to be honest. DXY is still relatively quite flat, but let's say if we do come crashing back down, start to see some weakness on the US dollar, then maybe dollar CHF could look interesting for me. I think this one's slowly spilling over to the downside, back to the lows here. If that does pick up some momentum, I wouldn't mind to try and look for a pullback, try and anticipate another lower high forming. We've got a continuous supply of lower highs here. I wouldn't mind trying to pick another one. So that could become a pair which I look to trade this week. Euro dollar longs as well. I like that one to the upside. If it does break here clearly, then I'm expecting push to the highs. Pound dollar in the exact same boat as well. Let's say pound USD sees a big breakthrough resistance here. That would be a lovely break of the inverse head and shoulder pattern. and then pullbacks, more upside, back to the high over there would be the plan. So there's a few others which could look really good for opportunities. They're just not there quite yet. Pound's not there quite yet. For all I know, we might continue doing this for the rest of the week. And if we continue to do that, I'm just not interested. Same with Euro. Same with the yen pairs as well. They've been looking quite flat. If we don't see that weakness step in for the yen, I'm expecting the yen pairs to stay flat. And of course, I will stay put and out of the firing line. But anyway, guys, we have reached the end of the analysis, the stream for this, well, for today. I was about to say for the week, but no, we are here throughout the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and of course Monday today, which we have spent some nice time looking at the markets and have a nice little chit chat, guys. But if you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Again, check out the Google Docs if you are interested about participating in the challenges. Again, just a bit of fun. No pressure, no ties involved. It's just a way to get people interacting with the platform, and again, have a bit of fun with it as well. And if you're new, good way to test it out. So if you're interested, go check it out. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. I really do appreciate it. Drop a like before you leave if you have enjoyed it, found it useful. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you do want to support the channel further, I do have the memberships below with some added perks there, some members only videos as well. So if you're interested, check that out as well. Also, I have set up a new channel, by the way, guys. It's a clips channel, nothing special, but a lot of the clips from the streams and other videos that I do, I'll clip them up and stick them on that channel. I don't want to overcrowd this channel too much. I'm going to post a bit more educational videos and reviews and other videos of a bit more kind of important topic. But in terms of clips from streams, educational clips, maybe some funny clips as well, I will have a separate channel, which I'll probably link with this channel at some point, but you'll see posts and updates about it. So any clips you're looking for about these channels or other content will be on that channel as well. It's just my name, Miko Audio Clips, so check it out as well. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Introducing Zenthrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zenthrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zenthrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.